Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf, the Docofdetox, and this is DocStar TV, and I am with Shalou and Kathy again, and today is day 4 of what?
The Advanced Water Fast.
Yeah, the Advanced Water Fast. So today we're going to answer your questions on advanced water fasting, and there's a big difference between advanced water fasting and water fasting, trust me. And the reality is, I'm going to go through that and explain it to you. But we're also going to answer a bunch of questions from yesterday's show. So if we don't get to your questions today, we're going to write them down, and then tomorrow we'll be doing those for you again. We'll keep up with them. So if we can't get to all your questions, we'll write them down. We'll answer them the next day. How's that? Is that a fair deal? Okay, because a lot of questions came in yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay, and just know this: we don't like to be questioned. Let me tell you something. When somebody doesn't like to be questioned, there's a problem, okay? And the reality is that you should always challenge yourself and challenge other people, but just understand something. It's okay to challenge people and challenge yourself, but just make sure that you're willing and accepting new belief systems to come into your life. Like we were just talking about that, right, Kathy?
Absolutely.
On how you don't even notice that you're blocking your own growth. And understand there's only one place to grow, and that's consciously. Okay, that is it. That's it. You don't need to grow anywhere else, okay? All right, people are growing this way and they're growing this way, but they should actually just be growing in between here, okay? They should be growing consciously. You should be learning to observe yourself much better as you get older, okay? As you get older. You know, the reality is this. Everybody notice that when you're young, you can go out and abuse the heck out of yourself and you bounce back just like that. Well, do you bounce back just like that? After 20, after 30, after 40, after 50? For God's sakes, if you're not going to change your personality, you're not going to change your reality. And the reality is this, and you can believe it or not believe it, doesn't really matter to me. You know, I'll be 67 years old. I've been in business now for exactly 40 years right now. And the reality is I've got more energy, just as much energy as when I started. And the reality is if I didn't grow consciously, I wouldn't have that energy. And if I wasn't willing to let parts of myself go every day I'll let 1% of myself go and 1% of something new in. I am never going to reach my true personality. This is my earth personality. This is that, you know, that fun-filled, life-threatening adventure called planet Earth. And actually, am I male? Well, I guess I'm a male. I'm a man. But am I really? No, I'm a spirit being having a physical experience. And the reality is if I ever stop forgetting that I'm a spirit being, because that's what you're doing. You're always trying to get back to the spirit. You're always trying to get there. Do you know the only person that is scared to leave this planet is somebody who has not fulfilled their purpose, their passion, and gifted the world with it? That's right. Now, understand, I'm not in a hurry to leave. Are you in a hurry to leave? No. Are you in a hurry?
No.
The reality is I'm not scared to leave, and I'm not scared to stay. Let me tell you something right now. 9,999 people out of 10,000 are scared to stay here, and they're scared to go there. That's right. Oh, I've got faith. I've got a religion. Yeah, you're crapping your drawers, okay? You're crapping your drawers to be on the planet. You're crapping your drawers if you were to leave the planet. The reality is, you know, once you understand your true authentic self and you understand that we are all spirit beings and we were made by the same creator, you know, and the reality is why would anybody want to do an advanced water fast? Because you want to feed your spirit. If you feed your spirit, you heal your body. We were talking about this earlier, and I'm going to tell you guys something, and you can get it or not get it. You go ahead and do an advanced water fast because you've got an autoimmune disease, which means that you were attacking yourself here and then you were attacking yourself here. So now you've got an autoimmune disease, whatever the heck that means. And there are no diseases, but we'll get into that later. But the reality is you cannot do an advanced water fast without going in here and in a loving, self-caring way, get rid of dysfunctional beliefs from mommy, daddy, the system, grandpa, grandma, and everybody else. We were talking here with Kathy. Kathy, you know, she still wants to defend everything, you know, so she's in defense all the time of everything. You can't. You got to be ready to let things go. You know, I tell my kids, I put my kids all on the couch. Have you done it yet? I put all my kids on the couch when they were younger, And they all could understand. And I said, me and your mother screwed you up. We screwed you up because we are adults, we're adulterated. And understand, okay, Sage was, at that time, was only 5 years old. Okay, and I told every one of my kids, because there was a 10-year difference between Sage and his older sister, and I said to all of them, guess what? We screwed you up. We know we did. And the reality is we are just learning now about self-love and self-care. And the reality is that I've got 4 children, and I still got some children that are beating themselves up. They're doing toxic things on an emotional and physical level to themselves. And guess what? I'm not going to interfere. If it was life-threatening, I would. But the reality is the human body is so amazing that once you feed the spirit, you can heal from anything. All things are curable. All things are curable. And understand, there's nothing that's going to turn around an illness faster than doing advanced water fast. What do you think, Shalou?
Absolutely. I think I remember you saying that if you do 1 6-day water fast a year, cancer can't touch you. Is that true? That's what I remember.
No, I don't think I said it.
Maybe I'm
like
wording
that.
it wrong, but it was like once a year.
Because I have to tell you something right now. There are a lot of people that they're their own cancers. The C in cancer stands for corruption, contamination, okay, and conflict. And the reality is that's not the truth. You'd have to get rid of the C, which is those 3 things, and then A-N-S-E-R, you would be the answer. And the reality is that I said that if you came and took a whole life coach certification course, everybody on this planet, okay, they would have a strategy from the moment they rise until they close their eyes on an emotional and physical level that they could then do that. But the reality is if you were living the perfect day and bringing in high vibrational foods, you also wouldn't hang around with low vibrational family. You wouldn't hang around with low vibrational friends. And the reality is when you do that, your vibration goes down, then you got to work so hard to get it back up. And that's the deal. And I'll tell you something, when I come, and do you know how you protect yourself when you're around low vibrational people, which is only, let me see here, 99.9% of the population, and God love them anyway. And the reality is when I go there, how do you not have your vibration go down when you're with family or friends, or you have to do things and you're in something and it's very negative? How do you do it?
You wear your protection.
Nope.
Nope.
What's your protection? That's true.
Slight smile on your face.
That helps, but
Mind your own business?
That's close. Guess what? You only observe without judgment. When you observe without judgment, you can be around the most negative people. So if I were to, which I don't, but if I were to go and watch the news, right? Okay? If I were to go and watch the news, I would look at it as a comedy. And I would look at it and go, wow, you know what? The majority of the population actually believe this BS. And the reality is I will believe nothing. And it's not there for truth, but who cares? The majority of the population, the herd, are always going to do it. The majority of the population will always rule, but guess what? They will never be in charge of themselves. Okay? Now understand something. What about this? We have seen a global crisis, that we just had a global crisis, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, how many people know that a global crisis, there is no such thing? You can have a family crisis. You could have a local crisis. There's no such thing as a global crisis. Like World I and World II were all put on for the Rockefellers and Rothschilds. And if you really knew the story, and if everybody really knew the story, people aren't going to like this, but Hitler was actually a really good person to the people in Germany. You didn't know that, did you? No. And he's been made out to be the evil guy. Yeah, he did go evil because guess what? They came after him. Because if anybody really knew, Hitler broke away from the banking system and the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, and they came after him because he would not buy into their program. So you didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
But I'm not going to go around telling people that because they're going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about because the majority rules, and the majority are a bunch of, they've been fooled, schooled, and ruled. And nobody knows that really, that guess what, 80% of all of what we do in the hospital all came out of Nazi Germany in the containment camps. So the reality is people don't have a clue. They just don't have a clue. So there are no such thing as a global crisis. Just like there is no such thing as a carbon problem, a carbon footprint. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. But we're all going to have to go for the ride, just like we had to go for the ride for the COVID, you know. But I didn't go for the ride, did I? No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it, and I'm not going to do it. And I'm also going to find a place that I can live like a high-spirited human being, and then everybody else can just do what they want to do. You know, you're either going to buy into the BS, the belief systems, or you're just going to stay there and complain about it. So that is the majority of the population. You either buy into it or you complain about it. Which one are you? So you're either one or the other, because there's hardly anybody that is going to go, I will move. I will change my life. I have faith. How many people say they have a faith and they have no faith? How many people have faith but they have no faith in healing? Oh, come on, please. You know what? The whole thing is all screwed up, upside down. So let's just know that. You all have a chance to rise to your greatness, but only 1 out of 10,000 people are going to do it. And I didn't say that I did it yet. I just know that 1 out of 10,000 people have done it, and I am going to do it before I leave here. And I got to tell you something right now. I know who I am, okay? And I know that I have, guess what? I have never done anything wrong. You've never done anything wrong. Let me tell you something. They gave us all these rules. They told us when we came down here, we're little sinners. God, I was a sinner before I got here in my family. And the reality is I was not a sinner before I got here. You know, this is all this crap, okay? You know, you can teach anybody to do this. So let me tell you something. Do you know how many women come to me and they can't do enough fasting? Why? Why? Because women are dirty. They're dirty in their minds, and they've been taught that they are. Because like 5,000 years ago, the church, the government came against women. And they said, look, we are going to get rid of the feminine power. Okay? If a woman goes and sleeps with 2 guys, she's a whore. And if a guy goes sleeps with 200 women, he's a superstar. So the reality is that's how it is. That's how it is, but it doesn't need to be that way. And the reality is that women, by the time they're 40 or 50 years old, they don't even know what love is. They don't know what love is for loving themselves, because they've always been taught to just pour their heart out for their family. And if anybody is sick, what do? They measure up to the same vibration. I'm going to tell you something. A very dear friend of mine passed away. A lot of people know him. I don't want to, but I'm not getting into talking about him. But now people are calling me up and go, that's so, so sad. You must be just really distraught. You must be just really miserable. Are we going to just keep doing this? It's like when somebody passes on. Remember how we used to wear black? And then if you're a woman, you need to stay a widow for at least a year, and you need to wear black for a year. Are you guys going to keep on buying into this BS? Or are you just going to have a colorful life and mind your own business and don't care what the 9,999 people say out of 10,000? That's just like doing an advanced water fast. You know, when I first brought out the advanced water fast, which is about 20 years ago, because I stopped doing water fast, because water fast, do you know what water fast will do to a person? It will wreck them if you can make it through it. Because understand, most people have chronic fatigue, they have fibromyalgia, they have an autoimmune disease, there's so much stress in the world, so now you're just drinking water. But the problem is it's the chemtrails. It's all the toxicity that you get from the blue light poisoning. It's the GMOs. It's the glyphosate. It's the 140 chemicals in the glass of wine that you drink because you don't even buy organic. It's the thousands of chemicals that you use in your house, and the 1,000 chemicals that you put on your body. So when you would go and do an advanced water fast, you unleash this stuff too fast, and the body goes, listen, all the detox organs, like the large intestine is not working right, the liver's backed up, the kidneys aren't functioning, they're overheating, okay? The lymph system's like a swamp, okay? Your skin, it's so dry with, look at this. You know, I'm 67 years old and I got no wrinkles, right? I got no brown spots, which means mold. I'm not a moldy oldie goldie. I'm not rotting inside, okay? The reality is this. So when I would be putting people even 20 years ago on a water fast, the headaches, the aches and pains, the vomiting, the throwing up, the fevers, they couldn't make it. And guess what? As soon as we started recognizing that we could put them on certain nutraceuticals that would bypass the Krebs cycle, not turn on the digestive tract, we could actually increase the stem cell making. We could increase the autophagy. Understand, If you want my free guide, this isn't a pitch, but if you want my free guide, it's called the 6-Day Advanced Water Fast. Whether you do 1 day or you do 60 days, it's up to you, but at least get started. You know, oh my God, I made it 1 day. Great. And if you were to do a 6-day advanced water fast, is what I said, every 6 weeks, and you only did 1 day or you did 3 days or you did 6 days, you would never be sick. And the reality is, if you're not willing to do that, because when you do an advanced water fast, you don't detoxify the physical, you also detoxify the invisible. And when you detoxify the invisible, it's more important than the physical, because it's the programs that you run that gave you the physical problem in the first place, because the condition you're in creates the condition you have. So understand something. Now that's real health care. That's real health care. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Shalou?
Well, it's getting to the root of what caused the block. And it's so true. When I did the water fast, I did feel so much stronger, because we give in to all our cravings. We give in to all the things that, you know, oh, well, I was an emotional eater. Like, food was my therapy, no matter what, because I was brought up in the restaurant industry, and that's all I wanted. That's all I saw as well. But
you also used food to show your family that you love them so much. Yes. But she wasn't really doing that.
No.
She was actually making the food because she was sucking on her family, because she can't live without love. And she said, if I make really good food, maybe the love that they give me back will fill up my little broken heart.
Yep. Oh, so true. And ever since I still make really good food,
but you didn't know it back then,
no,
that you were doing this because we can't live without love, like we can't live without oxygen. Yeah. And the reality is people will say, well, you know what? It's as good as it gets. How's your family for love? Oh, we all love each other. And then I'll go in there and we'll start doing some work with them, and it's like a physical, emotionally, sexually abusive family. You know what? You get used to what you get used to. You only have one family. And then if I ask, well, how's your diet? My diet's great. Meanwhile, the diet is an inflammatory, toxic diet, but it's the only one you know. And then guess what? You actually use a medical doctor for your health care, which has got nothing to do with health, so you know nothing about health. Or you might have a few tidbits here and there, because guess what? That's all they want you to have. Let me tell you something. You're not stupid. You're not dumb. You are a genius. Okay? They just want to keep you down there. It's just push you down. Like I just told you, there is no global crisis. Why don't you prove it to me? You know, what's my phone number? 469-714-8689. Tell me when there was a global crisis. There's never been a global crisis. Yes, there was. World War I, World War II. Yeah, but guess what? It was fake. Out there that you felt threatened by, they told you we were threatened by someone, didn't they? Just like the last 3 years, they told you we were threatened by something that can jump 6 feet, okay? And how can something jump 6 feet when it's dead? Hi, can I help you?
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Wolf. Hey, I've been watching your live, and
that might not be good for you.
No, I think it's good because it allows me to open my perspective even broader about what reality truly is, and how to really manage the issues that I encounter throughout my life or have been.
You want to hold it closer?
So it just really helps me to hone in on what's more important, and it allows me to grow even my passion for life even more, and trying to help people, more importantly my family and the people at my core that surround me.
Yeah, but if I can say something,
Sure.
I don't want you to help your family. I want you to help yourself. I want you to become the beacon of light for your family. Do you know what we do? And I'm going to tell you something. We're always so eager to help our family. I just want to help my family. You're a great example. You're a great example. I was a great example. I don't need to go and help my family. I don't have to have that as a thing that I have to go and help my family. Because we're always trying to prove to our family that we're right about something, okay? And that they're doing something wrong. What if we were to do and just do the perfect day for ourselves on an emotional and physical level, and all day long we were making the right choices, and we were that which we wanted our family to become, and that's all. So the first thing anybody will ever say is this: I just want to help my family. No, you need to go in and you need to erase and replace every thought inside your mind that ever made you into a sinner, a failure. I'm not smart. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not worthy of love. Okay, money's hard to make. Okay, I can't dance. Okay, there's nothing to smile for. This is what we do. Okay, so the reality is as long as you say to me, I need to learn this, I need to change to help my family, that means that you're still trying to suck off your family, and we need to denipple you because you are feeding off your family and you're needing their approval, you're needing their love to fill up your heart, but we don't know that because it's so deep on a subconscious level. If you were to fill up your own heart every day, you would demand nothing from your family. Your family would see this person that has great skin, a great mind, great energy, and vitality. That for that oh my God, for your age, the way you act. Well, yeah, that's because I had to change my act because it's a movie, and I am my own director, I'm my own writer, I'm my own producer, and I'm the leading star, which means I'm going to save every present moment and own it. All right. Go ahead, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, one bit in terms of actually honing in on your writing your own movie, writing your own script on how to be a better person, where you can,
No, I don't want you to be a better person. 1 second. Don't keep it there. I don't want you to be a better person. I just want you to be your authentic self. I don't want anybody to be a better person because we all were created by God, the creator of everything. We are spirit beings having a physical experience. We don't need to be better. We need to just get rid of all of the BS programs, dysfunctional belief programs from in religion, education, okay, finances, health, okay, loving ourselves and loving others. No. All we need to do is go back and find our authentic self. We don't need to be better. We just need to go look for our authentic self. I don't need to be better. I just need to keep on searching and loving myself 100% and never having to forgive myself. Okay, I'm not buying into this stuff, guys. I'm not doing it anymore. And you know what? You can be upset with me, but I don't need anybody's forgiveness. And I don't need to forgive myself because I'm not going to judge myself because guess what? I'm doing the best I can. Have you done the best you can? Have you always done the best you can?
Probably not, in retrospect now.
No, wait a minute here. Have you, okay, see, this is what happens when you don't have people that understand. And this is training. With the belief systems you had and the education you had, did you do the best that you could with it? Yes, you did. And that's it. If you can't even answer that question, then we know that you were emotionally beaten down as a little girl. There. And that's the God's truth. And she doesn't even know it. Because the reality is here, okay? The reality is here is this. You have been living up to their rules. First of all, and then I want to get off this topic because we're going down a deep path here, and that's this. My creator of everything has never judged me because it's not dysfunctional. It doesn't need to be on Prozac or a white straitjacket that it loves me 1 minute and hates me the next. That it's deciding whether I'll have eternity in hell or heaven. So the reality is this, you got a long way to go. A long way to go. Because you should be able to answer a question like that. Yes. You know what? My whole life, I made decisions on how I was raised. I was never out to, nobody's out to hurt people. You know, people out there murdering people and stealing from people, they don't want to do bad. They're in survival mode. And the same people that are telling us that human beings are destroying the world have destroyed our whole subconscious by driving information into us. I want nothing to do with religion. I want nothing to do with government. I want nothing to do with the medical system unless I have a sports injury or I was in a car accident. And none of those will happen because I love myself too much that I'm not going to do something to hurt me. And you're going to go, that's not true. Wait till you see. He better knock on wood. I don't need to knock on wood. I'm not going to have a disease. I'm not going to have anything. And the reality is I am love. I am unconditional love for myself. You know, everybody says we need to become unconditional love. Well, why can't you have it for yourself? Oh, no, if you do, you go to hell. If you do, you go to hell. You have to have unconditional love for everyone else, but if you have it for yourself, you go to hell. And if you have unconditional love for yourself, God knows you're going around stabbing people. You know, the reality is that the world's messed up, and the majority of the population, I don't need their approval. And you know what? And maybe I shouldn't be talking like this today on here, but this is how I feel, and I need everyone to understand that. Because I need everyone to do it, because the reality is, I don't know, do I keep on going, or do I just stop and don't do any more Facebook and just go very quiet and very small? Because right now we're blowing up. I mean, my stuff on these platforms has grown 10 times in the last 3 months. So what am I going to do? So the reality is how much can you take? Because if the majority of the population believes that, okay, that there's some old guy, okay, in the sky, okay, that's judging them, and you never know if you're going to make it or not, if you're going to be let in. Do you know the rules? Do you know the rules? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows the rules, and that's the way it is. Nobody knows how to do their finances. Nobody knows how to love themselves. Nobody knows how to love another human being. Nobody knows how to eat properly. But meanwhile, we get out of high school and then we have children. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about what I was doing. And then when I finally realized that, guess what? You do not play the game. You find out how these psychos play the game, okay? And you don't play it like them, but you take on you figure out their rules. Just like there is no global crisis, and there is not going to be any crisis. Somebody just called me up and said, yeah, that a good friend of mine, everybody knows him, he was big in the health world, and she goes, you must be so sad right now because he passed on. No, I'm not so sad, because if I'm so sad, how long is it going to take for me to get back up again? When I think about this person who passed on, I send that spirit love, and I thank that person for everything they gave me while they were here and everything they shared with me. And then I move on and I stay in the light. I don't go dark. I'm not going dark for you. I'm not going dark for you. If you have a really bad day, I'm here, and I'm here to help people get back and centered into themselves. I am not buying into the doom and the gloom, and I'm here to save my family. No, you are here to become what you want for your family. That's what you're here to do. If you can get that, that's the deal. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. That makes a lot more sense. And yeah, I mean, in essence, that's what I do try to do is project that sort of.
Oh, I can tell already. And that's why I took the time to say this, but I already know you're on that track. And I swear, I know that. Okay? Because if you weren't, you probably would have hung up already.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hang up. I am highly motivated, and I just try to find the best in all these issues that I'm being tackled by, and trying to find a path that has the lesser amount of
Use the word challenged by, okay? Not tackled, okay? But use the word challenged. Everybody needs to watch their words. And the challenge is you will not be challenged by these things anymore when you actually work with your subconscious a little bit more and get rid of a belief system that believes you are actually even being tackled or challenged. Because I'm not being challenged by anything. Planet Earth, okay, is a life-threatening, fun-filled game for everyone who understands the rules, and that the wars are not going to leave, okay, and that they can program us to kill our brothers and sisters, and they can poison the water, the food, the air, and everybody just sits around and complains about it. Okay, and the problem is the majority. Why don't you go to Costco? Why don't you go to any grocery store? You will see that 90% of what's in the cart is cancer-causing, infectious, poison, but everybody's just putting it in the cart. So understand, okay? There's no, how do I say this? I don't want to hurt anyone. There's no hero coming. You have to be the hero of your story, and you have to hold the line and for yourself. You know what? Don't tell anybody how to eat, think, or drink. Let me see you do it. Let me see you become the light. Let me see you make the right choices just for an hour. Let me see you not talk bad about yourself. Let me see you say, I am a genius. I am total love. I am, okay, the I am of everything. I will come first and foremost before anyone else or anything else, so help me God, so that I can be a good representation of that which I want for everyone else. That's it. That's the bottom line, and you better get it. And if you're not going to be selfish enough to create a perfect day for yourself from the moment you rise until you close your eyes, then you're not the billboard that you keep on telling everybody else that's possible.
Understood.
So, you know what, all I want for everybody is the best, and I know that I piss people off. And the reality is, it will come to a point someday, you know, we've got thousands of practitioners that we trained, and someday they will come and take over and I will just stop talking, because the reality is it takes a lot of work, you know, because
I
now
I don't understand, you know, how you can say that you're gonna piss people off by providing that sort of perspective and a genuine place that you're actually coming from.
Well, yeah, because it's not hard. It's not hard. If I can give you an example, sir, and I mean this in the best way, but you know, just what was it, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, the Canadian taxpayers paid around $200,000 to $250,000 of their money. CBC Marketplace did a show where, you know, 3 people died because of me, and how I have a cult, and how I steal people's money. You know, the reality is this, and then we've got the majority of the population that just buy into this stuff, because the reality is, if you do not know who you are, and you fell for the beliefs that you're unworthy, who would love you, you're not smart enough to do this or do that, you know, if you can go and find people that are worse than you, it makes you feel better, when all we should be doing is understanding, getting rid of all of this. All of us need to get rid of all of this. We are all the same, from the same creator. We came down as spirit beings. We have different parents that had different ideas and different points of view, and that's what made your personality. And your personality was not God-given. Your personality was parent religion driven, and that was it. So understand that. And the reality is, if you're not willing to be the architect and go in and reconstruct, so you've got to, ready for this? You've got to deconstruct, to reconstruct, to bring up your vibration, okay? And that's it. There's no other game in town but that, you know, and that's it. The reality is you've got to pour your heart into the present moment, every moment. That's why you got to learn how to, you know, learning how to do the lion heart breath, connecting to your breath. And if you knew that you were breathing at every present moment, then guess what? You would never be too far in the future crapping your pants, or too far in the past crapping your pants. You'd be here right now. If you were always here right now, you can deal with here right now. You know, you can't deal with all of the BS, okay, judgments that were placed on you. You know, let me tell you something. I was a bad boy, you know, okay? Just as much as I am trying to do good, I was a bad boy. I was in survival. You know what? I used to go and go to play soccer when I was like even in grade 9. And we lived in the poorest part of town. And after soccer, I'd go to, it was called, what was it called? Trying to remember, it'll come to me. It was like Walmart, but it wasn't Walmart. It was a long time ago, whenever that was. And I would go and I would steal whatever we needed for eating and whatever. And then I got caught stealing an iron from my mother, okay, for my mother for Christmas. And then, you know, the guy says, "What? Open that bag," and I hit him with it. And then I ran. It was, anybody know Halifax, Nova Scotia? There's a big hill and it runs down into the ocean. This was in December because I was going to get it for Christmas. And then I jumped into the water because you never see the movies where you jump in the water and you swim and hide under the dock and they can't find you. Well, I almost drowned. The reality is I've had a great adventurous life. And the reality is I was in survival mode. Now I'm in thriver mode. And I know that which created the universe has always loved me. And I know that that I must have unconditional love for everyone, no matter who they are or what they think. And that is the deal. And that's what we need to do. That's the only way you get yourself off the hook here. Okay? So even if somebody were to steal from you or lie to you or cheat on you, you know, the reality is you love them anyway, but you don't keep on going back, okay, to keep relearning that lesson. Let that person move on and you move up and you go somewhere else. But we can't let go because until you love yourself completely, okay, you're sucking on them and without them, you don't feel you'll survive. Until you unconditionally love yourself, you will buy into contaminated love and contaminated food, contaminated drink, contaminated talk, and that's how you'll walk. That's it. That's how I feel. I feel better now. I got that off my chest.
So is that what are you saying that's what we should do with our parents as well?
Well, but I need to know how you took it because I don't want you to do anything too nasty. Okay, I'm kidding.
Oh no, I'm not.
I was kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
I'm saying that what you just stated is that we should follow that guideline as obviously giving ourselves unconditional love and providing unconditional love to others. I mean, and also like what you just stated, there are components from, for example, my parents that walk through with contaminated behaviors, contaminated food, water, etc., and that bleeds over to me, and which makes things a challenge to me.
Let me tell you something right now. There are people.
How do we decontaminate all those behaviors, all those ideas, even though you provide that unconditional love to them and devotion? Because these are the people who brought us here. Or
there's a God spot. There's a God spot. There's a God spot in your heart. Just keep on pushing that button continually. Everything is about repetition. Everything is about practice. We talked this morning, right, about a group of people that worked for me that actually came together and they stole my partner. They stole close to $300,000 of her money. So that came up in a conversation here today, and it came up, and then I just let it go because the reality is if I hang on to that, I can't have all the blessings. And the reality is this is planet Earth, a fun-filled adventure. And the reality, if we weren't so busy, and if we were in the present moment, that would have never happened. If my partner Lori and me were in the present moment, that would have never happened. And the reality is that that's a lot of money, but the reality is it's a lesson. Don't hang on to the money, okay? What is the lesson there? Slow down. Be more present, okay? And the reality is it's not that I wasn't in the present moment because of anxiety. Believe it or not, I have this thing that I would like to touch everyone's heart and try to share unconditional love around the world. You know, you buy into your own BS after a while. Let me tell you, this unconditional love thing, I always thought it would be really cool. And probably about 15 years ago, I started talking about it, but I never really believed in it. But I really wanted it, but I never believed in it. And now I just want to do it because it seems like the coolest thing to do before I leave the planet is to try to see if I could really create a ripple effect of unconditional love and actually a BraveHeart nation. And then what happened was I fell into my own bullshit. And now I know it is. It's the key to unconditional love is the key. And now I know, and my father was a born-again Christian pastor, that I already know that which we call God is just this vibrant frequency that if you saw it, you would go blind and you'd be a puddle on the floor because we couldn't handle it, because it's only unconditional creative love, way beyond anything any human being can even understand. And so now I'm just totally content about everything. So it's the reality is to understand what I came from and what I truly am. I have my freedom. I've never talked like this ever on a platform in my life. I don't know why I'm doing it today. I might be psycho. But this is how I truly feel. And, you know, people are going to go, he's so full of crap. You know, he's up to some agenda. Well, people are going to find out. I'm not up to any agenda. And unconditional love is the only thing that's going to give me my freedom. And when I have unconditional love for myself, and first and foremost, then I can allow my children, okay, to disrespect themselves, and even they're not disrespecting me anymore. When somebody disrespects me, they're only giving their vibration off of disrespect for themselves. So if anything, I should bloody well have compassion for them. I'm not going to hang out with them, but I should have compassion for those people. And that's it. And it's not because I'm better. It's because let's cut the crap. Let's cut the crap. We're going to help you. Oh, we feel for you. I don't pity anybody. And I don't need anybody's pity. And pity is awful. It's a poison. Okay? And the world has become one large victim. You know what? I tell you something right now, sir. I have pissed so many people off here. I guarantee if I go take a look at TikTok right now, because we forgot to shut down the comments, I've probably been told to go, you know what, myself? And you are this, and you are that, and you are this. It happens all the time. You know, the reality is people just don't come on and go, okay, well, I'll take this because it feels good. But, you know, he can have that. No, they have to attack. You know, let's attack the East Indians. Oh, here's one right now. Okay? I'll get her later. Okay? The reality is this. Who did you pick to hate? What did you pick to hate? What food do you hate? How could you hate broccoli? How do you hate broccoli? How do you hate another brother and sister that you'll actually go to war? How do you hate them? How do you do that? I can't even fathom that anymore. But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you, about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, there was people that I would just sit back and I would figure out ways on how I could kill them. And understand, that was just a program. So if anybody out there right now is trying to figure out a way that you can kill me, I get it. I was there, and I love you anyway. So you can take it or leave it. Okay? And that is the greatest fast. The greatest fast you'll ever have is the fast of unconditional love, because it'll wash you clean. Because we have to be washed clean. Listen, if you're not going to brainwash yourself, then somebody else is going to do it for you, and it's not going to be pretty. Okay? I'm not going to do it for you. I'm just going to crack your coconut open so that you can start erasing and replacing. And if you guys, every one of you out there, if you don't understand something, that your subconscious created your disease, it created your love affairs, the clothes you wear, every bloody decision you make. Okay? Every I'm hurt, you hurt me, I hurt you, I'm going to love ransom you. You know, every one of them. And guess what? Every one of those beliefs that you do where you're hurt and you hurt another, that's not you. It's not you. Let me tell you something. You know Jim Gale? Okay, all right? Okay, I'll have him on tomorrow at noon. And understand something. Right now, he wants to take all of his work and put it into the prisons, because prisons are made to make prisoners worse. So they'll come out and attack us, attack their family, and show that the world is toxic and poisonous. You know, this is what these psychos do, is they come out and say that we poison the world. Well, for one thing, the tobacco industry owns all the food corporations, okay? All right? All medicine that you get from the doctor is made out of petroleum. Why don't you just go and shove a gas thing in your mouth and fill yourself up? You know, the reality is this. They went and got rid of glass and made plastic and everything so they could poison us with their petroleum even more. I mean, the reality is there's nothing good on TV. And if you look at, even if you go to the movie, we went to the Guardians movie. And in the Guardians movie, they had where there was children being kidnapped and abused on the Guardians movie. And then there was mutant humans on the Guardians movie. And I just went, I'm so done, Lori. You know, the first one we went to see was cute and funny. And then guess what? So now I already knew that Hollywood controls everything. I get it. But the reality is now they're going to get so twisted and they're going to make you think that the world's twisted and dark and dirty. And there's nothing dirty or twisted about human beings. It's these psycho elite that have signed a pact with the evil entity, the devil. And the reality is God's not intervening. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. We are not the most intelligent species in the universe. We eat food and we poo. That's not a high vibrational being. We can become a high vibrational being if we feed our spirit. And the reality is that it's all up to you. If you're unwilling to unconditionally love yourself, that's what Jesus tried to teach. That's why Jesus was murdered. So I don't care what you tell me. You want to tell me another story? You're looking in the wrong records. You're looking in the wrong records. And that's the reality. So if you don't want to buy into this what? It doesn't matter how many fasts you do. Doesn't matter how much nutraceuticals you do. As long as you feel you're unworthy to your family, to your friends, to the world, and that which created everything, whatever that is, I don't have a bloody clue. Okay, but the reality is I know that it totally unconditionally has always loved me, and I got sucker punched, and I don't care what anybody says. So yeah, probably I'm getting sworn at right now. But the reality is this. Remember something. All I did was give you something to hate. We all have belief systems that have to be fed. So it's like this. I'll just go on Daryl's platform and I can hate him instead of hating my wife today or my life today. And I'm going to love you anyway. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, that's a loaded answer, that's for sure. I think my take from all this is that, I think provide the best amount of energy that you possibly can, that comes from your inner you, and try to make a difference as much as possible for yourself and the people that are around you. If it's your parents, try to help them as much as you can to direct them if they're not on the right path, with some sort of love that you can project that comes from your inner you. I don't know. My message that I was always given is that, hey, I was always provided the opportunity, or not the opportunity, but the space and the vehicle for me to be here on this earth from my mother. And that, I don't know, she constantly reminds me that. So it's important. I think it's important to respect your parents, your mother, more importantly, because that she provided that space.
I get it. Yeah, but guess what? You're not here to change your mother. You're here to show your mother what unconditional love is.
Right.
That's it. This is not a convoluted thing. You know, like every day I deal with somebody that has an older parent or a relative that is in really bad way, and they struggle to help them. And you know of people, don't you, that are trying to change their parent, to try to control their parent because they know better, when actually the parent doesn't want that. The parent wants to hear about how they loved you, how they made a difference in your life.
Right. Yeah, she always sees me as the little baby, and and someone who's as a little baby, and that I was always a good little baby and a good little kid until I got at the age of 20.
Yeah, but that's your program. You're not going to change your program. You're going to hug her anyway. You're going to love her anyway. You know what? That's it right there. You need to know that we cannot change people. People do not change unless they're ready for the change. Some people will not be ready for any change on this lifetime. No change. Are you going to be okay with that? I have learned to mind my own business, no matter how close I am, how much I love someone. I have almost destroyed myself. Listen, you get the lessons you need. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you right now, about 10 years ago, I poured myself into changing someone to as much as I possibly could because they were threatening to kill themselves, that I almost killed myself trying to help them. And as soon as I stopped helping them, they stopped trying to kill themselves. So I was the problem. There's a mind melt.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Well,
just know this, you're on track. You're doing great. When people say I'm off track, no, you're not. The reality is how do you stay on track in a world that's not on track? Does this world believe in unconditional love? Are there going to be 10,000 people, young men today that are going to sign up for the war to go and go to war with people they don't even know? Okay, because they believed in a story that was on CNN or on Fox News, or that their family was saying, oh my God, did you hear what Russia's doing? We've got to get them. We've got to get them. We've got to get them. Just mind your own damn business, everyone. Just mind your own damn business. And I mean that in a nice way. Mind your own business. And that would be learning how to unconditionally love and care for yourself and see if you can make wise choices. Because every time you get angry, every time you get stressed out, do you make a salad or do you eat something or drink something that is poisonous? You think about that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
I bet we will. Anytime, my... Hi, can I help you?
Hi, my name is Victoria, and I was calling to ask a question. I did type it into TikTok.
I hope it's just... I hope the question's just going to be like, should I put peanut butter on brown bread? Okay? No, I'm kidding.
Well, my question is because I went onto your website and I saw the products, and I am interested, and I just wanted to tell you what my symptoms are, and so you can let me know if those were the products that I should buy.
Okay, love, go ahead. And remember something, okay? All right? So, let's first... No, 1 second. Can you give me 1 sec?
Yes.
Thank you, sweetie. So, first of all, let's show the definition of symptom. Definition of symptom is your body sending you messages, okay, on that you're unable to address something that you suppressed, okay? So now it's sending you messages that you better take a look at that, okay? So there are no symptoms, they're just messages.
Okay.
And symptoms,
I get it.
symptoms, when you don't understand they're a message, turn into a dis-ease because you're out of ease, because you're not in harmony, you're not in alignment. And then that becomes, after a disease, it becomes an autoimmune disease because you were attacking yourself on an emotional, psychological level first, and then it moved down into the physical. Because we know that the invisible creates the physical. We know that imagination is the greatest thing as long as you're conscious of it, what you're creating. Okay?
Yes.
So what's your question? What's your question?
My question is, I get really bad neck pain. I've been told I had herniated disc from an accident I had, and then my hands hurt, carpal tunnel.
Okay, 1 second. Can we deal with one issue at a time? Just one?
On both of them, but I had surgery on just one.
Okay, can you hold off for a second? One
Yes.
sec? Okay, so the neck issue, all it is scar tissue. You've got knots in here, scar tissue. And most people have neck problems. Why? Because of the vagus nerve runs right here like this. And because most people in the last 3 years have been totally stressed out. Not that they weren't before COVID. Really? Okay. And just know this, that when you go in fight, fright, and flight, okay, that's when you cause all the neck troubles. So we know that the more anxiety you have, the more neck troubles you're going to have. So let's put that one to bed. And the reality is, if you were to go see a Wolf non-surgical, a Wolf non-surgical therapist is the way to go. And learning how to clap your neck. You got to clap your neck, got to clap her. So you're going to have to learn how to clap your neck, and you want to clap your neck, okay, for at least 10 to 20 minutes every night. And if you went to see a Wolf non-surgical therapist, they'll give you a money-back guarantee that that first treatment's going to blow your mind, okay? Because what happens is, with inflammation, there's only one illness called inflammation. Inflame, and wherever it is, it's dehydrating the tissue, shrinking it, and taking it and making muscle into beef jerky. You ever eat beef jerky? You've got a beef jerky neck. Now, with Wolf non-surgical, we have a specialized technique. We go in and we lovingly open up the fibers and allow the blood flow, the lymph flow, the energy flow, and guess what? Right before your eyes, it turns right back into connective tissue. We don't get rid of scar tissue. We bring back in the life force that turns the scar tissue back into beautiful connective tissue. These ladies do it all the time, okay? Simran does it all the time. You can go to anybody, and they're going to give you a money-back guarantee that they're going to blow your mind. Because understand, you can get an adjustment on your neck, but it's just going to pop out. Because if I tie a knot in rope, is it shorter? Yes. So it's just going to pop out. You've got to open up the fibers to allow the elasticity and the circulation back. I can go and get a massage, and I can knead the thing until the cows come home. That's only going to be good until tomorrow morning, maybe. You can go to a physiotherapist, and that'd be probably a big waste of time, because that's never going to change it. And you can go to an acupuncturist, which I have a doctorate in, and that's not going to change it either. And just know this, that I am 3 of those different things, but I don't do any of them anymore. The reality is this, everything is a scar tissue issue. Whether you're talking about a tumor or a neck problem or carpal tunnel syndrome, it's just crystallization. You don't know how to drink, eat, or think right. And it's not because you're not a genius, because you are. It's, whoever trained you, whatever information they had, and the reality is you're only going to get worse. If you don't want to embrace a perfect day diet or look at doing advanced water fasting, vaginal infusion, clapping, belly button, what other things, right?
Well,
Yeah.
the black diamond, the
Yeah,
crystals.
you'd have to actually embrace, and you'd have to become important, right? Have you ever had a perfect day consult from anyone yet?
No.
Go on Docofdetox.com, click on consultations, and you can't see her, but Simran is holding the phone. Get a consult with Simran, and then it'll cost you $150. And guess what? You got lifetime support. If Simran decides to leave and go to another planet, God knows, who knows. The reality is this, you've got me. You'll call me or you'll call one of my master trainers, but $150 gets you lifetime with us, lifetime support, and you'll get our perfect day guide.
Yeah, in your website, and right now you have 25% off on that.
Oh, great. Now you told everybody. Thanks a lot. Hang up the phone now. So see, you need to understand something why we do it. I hope you know that we are giving you, and we will be giving you about $5,000 to $10,000 in help for a 25% off $150. Do you know why? Because guess what? Human beings have been taught by these psychos that we're not worth anything. So I need to make sure that we have a price that everybody's going to buy into. And then I got to make sure, because guess what? Health is a language, okay? And you can't learn a language in an hour consult. We'll give you the audio. We're going to give you a 400-page book that you should be paying $500 for. Should she?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should be paying that. But you're not going to. It comes with it free. And you know what? We are going to gift you as much as we can and show you that we care about you. And the reality is this, whatever you buy doesn't matter, but the reality is you've got to learn about you. You've got to start observing from the moment you rise until you close your eyes, and you've got to make you first. And you know what? People go, well, if I make me first, then that means my child could die in the tub. You know, people are just like, I don't know where they come from. You know, the reality is that if you love and honor and respect yourself, do you think you're going to do that for others? That's how it works.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so just understand, you've got a domino effect. You're only going to get worse if you keep the personality you have. Okay? So let's give you a platform, a strategy, okay? And Simran will give that to you from the minute you rise till you close your eyes, and then you can call her as much as you want, and when you can't get her, you'll call me. You get that?
How do you spell her name?
How do you spell your name? Come around and show your face so she knows who you are. Come here. Come sit here.
Where? Here?
There.
Okay.
Well, you can't. No, come up higher. I'll leave. You sit.
I'm on the phone with you.
SYMREN.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
SYMREN.
Okay.
And everybody out there, take advantage of this 25% off that this lady went and just shot off to everyone. Okay? Okay? This beautiful lady. And then book with Simran, and then you'll be working with me because she works right hand to me. Okay?
And that's Simran, the one in the middle?
That's right.
Hi.
Okay. I will call you, Simran.
Okay.
Oh, no, you don't call. You got to go. Well, do you want to give your phone number?
Yeah, 705-984-1699.
But if you go to docofdetox.com, click on consultations, you'll see her pretty face. And then you click on there, and then you book the time you want, and then you own her for life.
Yeah, that's what I meant, that I was going to go on the website and contact her.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Hey, you have the best day of your life, and guess what? I want you to come back on again, and I want you to let everybody know that we followed through because we do love you, okay?
Okay.
All right. What's your name?
My name's Victoria.
Yeah, I just want to know who stole some money from me, okay? Okay, you have a beautiful day, Victoria.
Thank you.
Bye, love. Okay. Well, today didn't turn out exactly like we thought, did it? Okay.
But the day is young.
The day is young. That's right. We are young. We are infinite light energy, electrical, magnetic beings. And guess what? Whatever you put out is going to come back to you because guess what? What you think and the way you speak, okay, is the most important thing that you can ever do. Your imagination is something you need to go grab and you need to harness, okay? All right? Now, just know this. Tomorrow, we're going to be back on here, and I'll be on here with Simran, right? At noon tomorrow, okay? At noon tomorrow.
I'm working.
At noon tomorrow. Yep. And she'll be doing the Q&A with me, okay? All right? All right. Okay. So can we read those questions? Sure. We've got some questions from yesterday, and then if you could, can you go through the Facebook questions, and we might try to do a few of those. But guys, I'm telling you that, you know, okay, what's 25% off of $150? That would be like about $35. So you're paying $115 to get what we call the Perfect Day Guide. And this isn't a sales pitch, but, you know, Victoria let it out of the bag. But you're going to get a 400-page manual. And when you go in there, you can look at your emotional and your personality, and you can see, and it'll match up with your disease, which is just the symptoms of you running belief systems that you don't even know that you're running, that you think are normal because so many people are running them. Yes, Connie, we're live doing a really big show, and I just want to thank you for calling me. Everybody, this is Connie, my accountant. She's probably wanting to know something, but we're not going to tell her. Bye, Connie.
Bye, Connie.
She probably heard about the 25%.
Oh, she has.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Okay, where are we?
Okay, so do you know what causes... Oh, this is from Truth Will Prevail. Do you know what causes ingrown toenails and how to stop them from growing in?
It's chemistry. Everything is chemistry. So an ingrown toenail is the same thing as an arthritic joint. You know how your fingers get twisted? Oh, well, you're not going to believe me when I tell you. Well, what about twisted thoughts? And then what about the toenail? Because also remember something. Everything comes down with gravity, right? And you're only going to get that when you get older. As you get older, you get this. You don't have it when you're younger because your thoughts get more twisted and you get more toxic. And that's the truth, and I can prove it. Okay, but not right now because we'll have to get a tow truck in here. Okay. Next.
Clarissa asks, where do you store the coffee for the coffee enema?
Where do you store the coffee? Like after you make it?
Room temperature, I'm thinking. Just if it's...
Well, what do you mean, where do you store the coffee? I don't know. What, is it?
Yeah, it's unclear.
So let's put it this
In the
way.
fridge.
Your coffee, the Docofdetox enema coffee goes in the fridge or in the freezer. It doesn't matter. Okay? So
once it's opened.
Yeah, once it's open.
Yeah.
That's all.
Someone on Facebook asked if we can show how the Cellsonic works.
Yeah, okay. So why don't, okay.
Okay.
Just saying.
We'll answer these questions tomorrow. We'll show how the Cellsonic works. And because, yeah. All right? Because, yeah. All right. Okay. I'm going to move out of the way. Over here. I'll move to the side.
And we're doing a Cellsonic day, are we? Or is that just
One second.
later?
Okay. One thing at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay? All right. You want to talk about it? So, do you want me to start or you want to start? Ladies first.
Yes, because, I have fewer words, so.
Whatever.
I get to go first. They're probably
Whatever.
tired of,
Whatever.
just a change in tone is good.
Okay. All right.
So, this is the pulse head, and there's water in there, and the Cellsonic brings in 25,000 volts and transfers that into you through a love harmonic, because there's no way, if you stuck
There's a liquid in here, okay, in here, and the 25,000 volts. Has anybody understand what the field is? Oh, here, let me try to explain something to you. How many people know that it's not like your spirit comes down and that's it? Your spirit is always being infused into your body. That's why the more you have anxiety, the more you block it. Did you ever notice that? Okay, guess why? Because the more anxiety you have, the more your cells create a thicker layer, because they don't want all of that terrorism coming in, so it's a thicker layer and it doesn't allow your actual spirit energy in. It's all science, guys. Wait a minute here. Are you trying to tell me that this whole God thing is science? Yes, it is. It's real science, okay? It's all about vibration. It's all about light. It's all about electricity. And guess what? How much energy does somebody have when they're no longer in their body? Zero. How much energy does somebody have when they're sick? Very little. And guess what? What if we were able to energize them and to use a device to actually put electrical energy back in to decalcify the mitochondria that make the ATP, which is the energy for the human body, and there's mitochondria in every cell. In every cell there's a mitochondria. That is the powerhouse. It makes ATP. When you use a Cellsonic, are you ready for this? It'll go in and decalcify the mitochondria, which will only spin 300 to 500 times when they're calcified. And when it gets decalcified, one pulse can decalcify that. And the reality is you break the calcium wall around the mitochondria. Now it spins 2,500 times, making the ATP, and then the ATP will then go what we call the potassium sodium channel, and it'll go out of the cell, create a lightning bolt, which creates a new cell. Welcome to real science. So now we can take something that's 25,000 volts. You could stick your finger in 125 volts and have a heart attack or a seizure. We're going to take 25,000 volts, put it into a field, and understand it'll have the same effect as 25,000 volts, but only there is absolutely no harmful side effects. No. Go ahead.
No,
your turn, and then we'll bounce it back and forth.
So, we use a gel, just like an ultrasound gel, to keep that water barrier going. So wherever you were going to be treating, you would put the gel on and a little bit on the head. And then every pulse gives you 25,000 volts, but there's different energy levels from 1 to 10 that we can infuse that voltage in through. So, we start at 4 and then we work with you all the way up to 10 if you can handle it.
You know what? Are you ready for this? There's a really bad virus going around the planet right now called victimitis. And that doesn't make you bad or weak. It's been programmed into us. So somebody with victimitis, we'd have to start off at 4. Somebody that says I have fibromyalgia, which means they have pain throughout their body because life is painful. Somebody who has chronic fatigue is somebody who's had anxiety for so long they've burnt themselves out. Somebody who has depression, that's because they have really bad anxiety and the computer has to shut down, which is called the brain. So it depends on what we're doing. Now, if somebody comes to us with a fibroid, okay, you might call it a tumor or a fibroid. You remember when like 20 years ago, and you'd have a fibroid which was benign, you had a tumor which was malignant. Guess what they did? Now they call them all tumors. Why? To scare the shit out of you. No other reason. And I'm allowed to swear about this because I need you to get this. It's to scare the crap out of you. They're not allowed to call them fibroids anymore because we need to scare the crap out of you. You know, you can program anybody to say anything or do anything. Like, you haven't noticed that? Okay, so now when you get a fibroid, okay, it's mainly scar tissue. Remember what we were talking about, the dehydration? Well, guess what? That's what it is. It's dehydration, dehydrated tissue. And remember when I said that you couldn't address certain issues? So if you can't address them, you suppress them. Well, where do you think they go? Well, they get stored in a pimple to a tumor, okay? A boil. They get stored in your joints, and now you got problems in your joints. They get stored in your pancreas, and now you've got adult onset diabetes. Do I need to keep going? And then most people will hide it in their bowel because who would ever look in the manure pile, right? Okay, that's where you'll store stuff. But the reality is this: we will. Let's say if somebody comes to us with a fibroid, okay, and if they come to a fibroid, and let's say the fibroid is about the size of a large tangerine, right? Now, this is only in 90% of all cases, 90, 95, yes or no? And what will happen is we will first take a look at it. If it's really hard and it's got a lot of calcium in it, we will first use the pulse head and we'll go around it. Why? Because we want to fracture the calcium that's in here. And understand, this will never do any damage to any bones. It's the most beautiful thing. It will go in and it will fracture the calcium that's been displaced, that was pulled from the sternum, from the ribs, from any of the bones in here, and it pulls it into the area. Now, why would a person have a fibroid in their breast? Well, basically because you were pooping in your pelvis, you backed up your liver, you backed up your lymph, and then you're got the waste going in here. Infection creates inflammation. Inflammation, if you don't recognize it, then you've got to pull the calcium in to buffer down the inflammation. And when you get calcium deposits in the breast, that's just one stage before breast cancer, which is actually just stage 4 inflammation, but they call it breast cancer because, of course, it's a death sentence, which it isn't. But it is if you put it there. Now we've got a fibroid, and it could be calcified. And if it's calcified, we're going to use the cell sonic first to go in and fracture the calcium, and then it'll come apart easier. If it's not a hard fibroid, we'll lovingly go in and use the elbow, a technique I put together when I was 27 years old, and I've been doing it now for 40 years. And we're the only clinic. We have not hundreds, but thousands of people that have taken our course and run clinics. And every one of them gives a money-back guarantee that in the first treatment, they'll do more for you than all the other treatments combined. You might think that's really cocky of me, but when you know something, you know it. That's not my fault. Okay, so now we're going to go in here. We're going to use the elbow, and we're going to lovingly pull open the fibers so we allow the lymph, the spirit energy, and the blood to come in. And guess what? Instantaneously, we've got scar tissue turning back into connective tissue because we put the life force back in. It's not like there's going to be scar tissue floating around the body because it's not true. This lacks something. So by giving it back the life force, we can change it. Like a fibroid the size of a tangerine, where I can take it down by 30 to 60% in the first treatment.
Cheryl actually had, one of my clients had a 2-inch hard mass in her left breast. And we did the non-surgical and did, I can't remember now, it was either between 400 to 600 pulses. And I got a message from her that night that it had shrunk by 80%.
Now, it will come back if she doesn't change her personality and the way she thinks, drinks, and eats. Remember something. The invisible creates the physical. We are not talking cure. Don't anybody even say that. Well, I was on Dr. Wolf and he promised to cure. I don't promise to cure anyone. You can cure yourself if you want to change your personality, if you want to make different choices. If you want to unconditionally love yourself, you would cure yourself that fast. That fast. If you wanted to do that. But the world's going to make you feel selfish if you do it. So you're really going to have to hold the line. Okay? So now, if it's not calcified, we'll go in lovingly and start, and then we'll do this. But when we do something like, let's say in the breast area, we're going to come and we're going to start here. We're going to open up the sternum. We're going to come all around the area, and then we're going to work right on it. But understand this. If you have a problem in one breast, you've got it in the other. And it doesn't mean you have it as bad, but guess what? They're twins, okay? They live together, okay? All right, so you want to be working on both areas. It doesn't matter whether you've got a fibroid in your pelvis, in your breast, whether you've got carpal tunnel syndrome, whether you've got arthritis. You know, if you want, you can come to us and say, I'm bone on bone. I have to get a hip replacement. I'm bone on bone. I got to get a knee replacement. And we'll give you a money back guarantee that in the first treatment, we will prove to you that you're not going to surgery. And I know you're not going to believe it because you are only going to believe what you've been programmed to believe. But the reality is we're going to keep on talking like this because we know it. And once you know something, you got to talk about it. It doesn't make us bad just because we know how the body operates. See, there's only 3 things in the body, okay? Scar tissue crystallization and calcification. That's every illness in the body. Did you get that? Okay? And if you're dealing with the lungs, you're going to be dealing with a lot of mucoid, right? COPD is just your lungs are drowning in mucus because you had so much inflammation that the mucus was being created to try to protect your lungs. But I don't care. You tell me that you've got any type of lung problem. I'm going to go in here with Wolf non-surgical in between your ribs, open up your ribs. I'm going to open up your sternum, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do cell-sonic, and you're going to breathe 30% minimum to 70% better, and we prove it all the time. Then what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to clap, and then we're going to teach you how to nebulize infinite iodine, silver bullet liquid, and fulvic. And you can get a portable one. You can buy that, or you can go get one you plug in. But you need to get serious. Every one of you out there, you need to get serious about what they're trying to do out there to the air. Go buy a portable one, but then go spend $115 and get a plug-in one that you can get it from the drugstore. And then guess what? You can start off with your infinite iodine, 1 part infinite iodine, 3 parts distilled structured water. But then do straight iodine and go in and just watch how you just restore the tissues. Because our infinite iodine is the only pure iodine in the world, and it will neutralize a virus in 15 seconds. The viruses are not alive, but it'll neutralize the toxic chemical of it. That's it. Okay? All right? Is there anything else I missed?
No.
So just understand this, that we've had people that have had spinal injuries, okay, that it has actually helped the spine grow back together. And this lady was saying here that she had herniated. A herniated disc is just inflammation. It's all inflammation. And, you know, there's no such thing as a slipped disc. Can you hold for a second? Because when she was talking about a slipped disc, where'd it go? In her underwear or in her socks? It didn't slip. It just got inflamed because of infection. And understand, how many people know that low back surgery is the main surgery that's being done, second to hysterectomies and cesareans, that is. And the reality is that surgery causes more scar tissue than anything else. And I will tell you right now that 95% of all low back surgery is caused because you pooped in your pelvis. And you actually infected the area around the low back, which caused infection, which is inflammation. Then you pulled the calcium from the bones, and then you made the beautiful ligaments and tendons and muscles around the spine into scar tissue beef jerky, and we can reverse it. And you can come and catch me if you want, but I'll give you a guarantee that even if you're booked for surgery next week, that you don't have to go. God created the most beautiful body. We can grow back organs, we can grow back tissue, we can grow back bones, and understand the medical system has you now believing that the imprint of God Almighty has left us for some reason. Just know this, if you can create a disease on an unconscious, subconscious level, what do you think you could do if you were actually conscious and somebody gave you a strategy? Yes, how can I help you?
I was wondering if doing this procedure would also jumpstart the lymphatic system and
Okay, what? No, you keep it. Okay, 1 second. You're going to have to speak louder and keep it right here. Can you?
I was wondering if that your approach would help start the lymphatic system and your other vital organs.
Well, first of all, let's talk about one thing at a time. Your lymph system. So everybody, your lymph system is like here, growing behind your knees, behind your ankles, and it's also throughout your whole body. And you have you only have 8 pints of blood, but you got 12 quarts of lymph. And understand this, that the lymph gets backed up when the bowels get backed up. You can't give me a person that has a lymph problem that doesn't have a bowel problem. I know, but I go to the washroom. No, you don't. It's not what comes out, it's what stays in. And everybody better get this. The large intestine is 85 to 95% of the immune system. It's debated, but it's the good bacteria in there. And the reality is his lymph system, or whoever he's talking about right now, this dear gentleman, that person's lymph system wouldn't be backed up if their bowel wasn't backed up, because the lymph dumps into the bowel. And the reality is, if you smell your armpits, okay, you'll know when you're backed up because you stink. And when you do a detox, it smells like poo coming out here. It smells like your butt. And that's because you've been backing up waste for so long. And then people who say they don't even detox anymore and they don't sweat, that means that the contamination, physical contamination, is actually plugged up all the pores. And you got to understand, your lymph is like molasses, so you got to heat it up. And if you want to move your lymph really quickly, you can do it with what's called Addison, AVACEN. You'll see it on my website. You only put your hand into it, and it will really open things up. But understand, exercise helps the lymph. But if you don't want to clean out your bowels, like if whoever this is, if they did daily cleansing tea, black gold, okay, and even if they just started there, and then if it's a woman, she'll buy into this more, do the ultimate coffee enema and purge your liver, then you'll start to drain. If you don't get the cork out of your butt, nothing's going to happen right. And also, you can get a clapper and clap underneath your armpits and your groin area to stimulate things, to get things going. You know how people will say, I'm swollen here at a lymph node? The doctor will say, don't touch it. Dr. Wolf will say, get your clapper, go around it first, above it, around it, and then what you're going to do is lightly go on it, and then you're going to go even harder and harder. And guess what? It's only lymph congestion, but you go ahead. Don't touch it. Just leave it alone. Let it become a swamp, okay, where it gets really toxic. Why don't you just do that? Let it get really hard. You have to understand, everything in every disease is a block. It's a block. So it doesn't matter where it is in the body. So whether you're blocked up in the lymph, or you're blocked up in the organs, or you're blocked up in the joints, or you're blocked up in, it's all just a block. You can't give me something that we can't improve or show you how to turn around and keep turned around. And we do not promise cures. That has got to be the worst four-letter word I've ever heard in my life. There is no such thing. The only cure is a personality change, where you know from the moment you rise until you close your eyes how to love this temple, this vehicle. That's it. Now, if you've got a lymph problem, sir, you're going to take a look, and we're going to find out that it's you. If it's you, that you're not drinking structured water, you're not drinking a gallon of water a day. Okay, that's a structured unit. It just by pouring water through this, it'll hydrate into the body 1,000% better than any other water. And guess what? I'll give you a 90-day money-back guarantee that if it doesn't, just send it back. There, we won't talk about that. Now it's not a pitch. Here. So, and the reality is, if you knew how to food combine, if you knew that if you've got a lymph problem, do you think maybe you should drink more water? Because is the lymph not a river, but it's a liver of molasses? But what if we were to drink structured water, which hydrates 1,000% better, and then we were to drink warm to hot structured water? Does that make things flow better? If I warm up molasses, will it flow better? Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to go to do that. And if I go on daily cleansing tea, and I were to get my bowels moving at least 3 times a day with a movement that might compare to about this long 3 times a day. You hear me? We're so backed up we don't even know. And if you've got a lymph problem, you've got a parasite problem. If you've got a lymph problem, you've got a fungal problem. If you've got a lymph problem, you've got a bacterial problem. And that's it. If you've got a lymph problem, then we know that you've got a sluggish liver and that you don't have a lot of energy. Okay? And if you've got a lymph problem, that is not a good situation, because your lymph is the last stage before all hell breaks loose, if that jams up. Get a consult. You know what? Right now it's on sale, 25% off. Go do that. And then guess what? If you're unsatisfied, then just call up and tell them you want your money back, and we'll give it to you. The reality is we work like the way that Hippocrates did. Okay? We give you a guarantee that our stuff is real. And it's not because we're great, it's because you are. And it's because that which created you created something great, and you just don't have the strategy. That's all. Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, no, I understand what you're saying. I was just more wondering also about that with the whole 25,000 volts. Does that help kickstart the organs as well?
Oh my gosh. Okay, it can cause bones to grow together. It can cause even the spine that was severed to actually bring the neurons back together. Okay, it'll actually fracture good, healthy bones and create little fractures. Because when you were younger, okay, especially when you were just born, the reason why you grew so fast is because the little bones you did have, they were fracturing 24/7 by the thousands of microfractures that were releasing ions. And calcium ions will create 120,000 different chemical and hormonal processes per second. This does the same thing as if you are like a newborn. It goes in and creates little fractures in your good bones, releasing ions that and calcium ions. They are 90% of all communication for the human body, for the cells. So you need to get that. So as we get older, we don't have as much communication going on. So this jumpstarts all of that. Okay, remember something. Here's the deal. When you were in your prime, okay, you had tons of human growth hormone that went into your liver that made IGF 300,000.
It's here.
Okay, so this is called IGF 300,000. This is an all-natural product. If you take it, they couldn't tell if you took it or not. And this will give you the same energy when you were the most vital in your life, and it'll give you the same tone. It'll give you the same tone. I don't go to the gym. All I do is stretch. I don't do anything else. I don't have a rope. I don't have a stretcher. All I do is just get on the floor, and I do pelvic squats. I do stretching exercise. I do a few body weight exercises. But I'm in great shape, and I don't have to work out but only 20 minutes a day. And I am in great shape. I can say that. And the reality is guess what? This is IGF-1, but we made 300,000 with Long Jack in it. You can have like the most unbelievable energy all day long, and it doesn't stimulate you like coffee, and you don't come down like exhaustion. And the reality is that's what you call real science. That's what you call taking and harnessing nature. That's when you bridge science and nature together doing this. Can you give me the ionic calcium here? That's just like this product. There's only one product in the world that is a calcium product, and it's called calcium ion therapy. This is called Merigen. It's our strongest one. Our weakest one is called Megagen. We have another one for the joints, another one for the teeth, another one for babies. You know what I mean? But the reality is there's only one product in the world, and it's called ionic calcium. And guess what? We have ions in liquid, and when you take them, they mimic when you were in your prime. What?
Are we doing the thing today?
Are we doing it? Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So she's
So
just gonna
anyways,
go
we're
back.
going to jump ship, okay? And just know this. I will tell this to everyone. Go get a consultation, and we will change the rest of your life. Go to Docofdetox.com. Click on consultations, and I promise you will change the rest of your life. My main phone number is 469-861-9454. And you can call me, and you can say, "You're wrong, Dr. Wolf," or come online, but you won't. Because the reality is guess what? Does anybody know why those psychos have tied 8 billion people up, hog-tied them, and they get them, and they've enslaved them? Because they strategize. Do you know that nobody strategizes their day? If you were to strategize your day and have a perfect day today, why wouldn't you do it tomorrow? Why wouldn't you do it the next day? And then if you did it for 3 months, you unconsciously just changed your whole life. And when somebody else is eating wrong or drinking wrong, you will not do what they do. Because repetition's the key. Once you've done something long enough and strong enough, you don't even think about what other people are doing. you just unconsciously do the right thing because you've created a new program. The only reason why you abuse yourself and everybody else is because, you know, they force-fed abusive programs into you, like, guess what? You know, hurt people. Or like this, you're a sinner, okay? You're a failure. You're a loser. Who would love you? Well, guess what? I think I'll just unconditionally love myself and go there already. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. God bless everyone. But what we're going to be doing is coming back on in a few minutes, and I'll tell you why. We've had a lot of people call in, and I'm right now at Shalou's house. So we're going to show how to work the most powerful circulatory device on the planet. We're going to show you how you could have a block of 90 to 92% in your heart and not go to surgery, and within 37 hours, we could build a whole new set of arteries for you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, all right. So check us out. 3, 2, 1. Have a beautiful day. Just love yourself well. God bless. Bye, everybody. We'll be back if you want.